And whoa, look at Magoo. Magoo streaks into the...
Thorpe's got past Gabors. They lock handlebars as they go through, but Thorpe's done.
Here comes Bradshaw to the outside of Bale. He takes over the number 2 position, and Bradshaw is not done.
Welcome, Motocross History Channel team. Today we're going to be exploring the question, what happened to Billy Liles? Billy Liles first became a professional in 1982 and raced Kawasaki's. He raced in the United States from 1982 to 1986. In 1982, Billy Liles was actually, I'm not sure if he was the first or was one of the first members to sign up for Team Green, the Kawasaki support ride system. It was very small at that time, and nobody knew that it was going to become the giant that it is today. Nevertheless, Billy Liles was one of the first guys to do that, and he became a professional in 1982 and started racing a handful of 250 motocross outdoors, 250 supercross, and also 500s. In 1983, he started full-time racing the entire circuit. Now, Billy Liles only raced 3 supercrosses in 1982 and a handful of outdoor nationals, only in the 250 class in 1982. His best placing in 1982 was in Supercross was 15th at Anaheim, and in the outdoor series, his best placing was 5th at Road Atlanta in the 250 class. In 1985, he decided to switch to the 500 class, and that's when good things really started to happen. He got off to a great start in the first race of the season at Gatorback, Gainesville, making the podium, getting 3rd place. He then followed that up with another 3rd at Hangtown. He also was able to consistently score in the top 5 throughout the 85 season, getting a 2nd at Lakewood. Now, coming in prior to when the 1986 season began, because of Ronnie Lashinzel's stint in Tokyo, Honda had fired him, and Kawasaki picked him up. They decided to move Billy Liles down a step, and he was back as a support rider. But because of this, and because he was moved down to being a support rider, he decided that he was going to give, in the off-season, he was going to give the MXGPs a shot. And he actually flew over to Europe on the same plane and with Trampus Parker. Now, 1987, he admits, was somewhat of a growing year for him. It took him pretty much an entire year to figure things out, not just the tracks and the system of how the MXGPs work, but it was everything from how to live there, how to travel there, how to do a lot of those things. But by 1988, he was ready to go, and it was his first full, all-in season. He was with the Kawasaki factory team Sinton, and the choice that they made to gamble on him paid off when he ended up winning his first MXGP in San Marino. I put out a YouTube short of that just a couple days ago, and the title of it was he won his first GP on the coolest looking Kawasaki KX500, which was awesome. It was blue and yellow, and as you can see here, awesome looking bike. So in 1988, he really made a name for himself. Moved up to number 8 by the end of 1988 in the points rankings, and continued to race for Kawasaki throughout 1989. Now, in 1989, he did not win any MXGPs, but his overall consistency really proved to be one of his biggest assets. And by 1990, he moved up to number 7 in the points ranking And 1990 was his year. He really started off with a bang in 1990 at Vulcansward, one of the renowned tracks, sand tracks, being one of the toughest tracks there is. So we're going to watch a clip of him in 1990 going 1-1 to start off the year, which you couldn't ask for anything more than that. So enjoy this clip, and we will be right back.
Who is it that's got the whole shot? It's the Australian number 2, it's Liles, on the HRC Honda. He's closely followed by 75, it is Johnny Swamp, the local rider. But it's the Australian that is away in the sand. And now we see it's Job there, number 6 in second place on the very modified Yamaha, the 490 water-cooled Yamaha. No longer a production machine, this is a special just made for Job. The American Billy Liles. Martins it is now beginning to close on the Australian leash, so we have a battle on for first and second. Over the bumps and the humps, and it's Liles now, the American, up to third on the Kawasaki. Not. There's Thorpe, David Thorpe, the British, the world number 1 on the Kawasaki. Inheriting the lead after that horrendous crash is number 7, the American Billy Liles, on the Johnson's Kawasaki. Jove, number 6. It's a special Yamaha this, it's water-cooled. Number 4, Kurt Nickel. Looks as if that fuel problem has struck the KTM man. At the front we join the American, it's Liles, number 7. He seems to have this race fairly well sewn up. This deep sand here at Vulcansward, it saps the strength of the riders lap after lap, soaks the fuel out of the tanks. Because it is now Joe Martins at Leeds. Martins leading the multi-champ Eric Gabors. There's Liles, he's on a charge. Gherkins, he's charging as well. Indeed, the lead has changed. As expected, the American Billy Liles takes up the front, demotes number 14, Joe Martins down to second. The deep sand here at Vulcansward beginning to take its toll on the riders. race leader. And Gherkins is beginning to go for the inside line. And the checkered flag goes out, so it's a will-to-will to the finish between Liles and Gherkins, but it's Liles that takes...
So he would also follow that up at the second round in Payerne, the famous Switzerland track, very rocky, by the way, by going 2-1 and winning Switzerland as well in this, as you can see, a classic finish down to the wire between him and Kurt Nickel. Round 4, he also did really well. Almost won the overall, but missed it by 1 placing. He went 3-1, winning the second moto, and did really well there. And here's a clip of his second moto win. So after the first 4 rounds, 8 motos, Liles had won 4 of them and had a pretty substantial points lead. So it looked like it was smooth sailing. All he had to do was kick in that gear of consistency that had made him great all throughout '89, and it looked like his first title was coming to him. Unfortunately, when you get to round 6 in Cingoli, Italy, which was famous. All the Italian tracks were famous having all those huge jumps, the drop-off jumps. There was this major drop-off jump, which I think you've all seen. Liles approached it wrong, ended up crashing and breaking his femur, which is the largest bone in your body. So it takes months to heal from that. So his 1990 season was over, unfortunately. Liles made it back for 91 though, and continued to do really well. Now in 91, Liles was on the SR 500, but even though he didn't win an overall event, he still remained very consistent and was able to move up to number 5 in the points for 1992. Now, for 1992, he switched to Action Workshop Team Honda and was determined to win the title that year. And Liles brought it in full force in 1992, doing really well. To include in the UK, and also once again in Belgium, in the Netherlands at Valkenswaard. And remember, in 1992 they switched. FIM switched the point system, and it was the first year which was 3 25-minute motos instead of being 2 40-minute motos, which I'm still puzzled to this day as to why they did that. Maybe it was to draw more fans or make more money, because that's usually the reason why they do anything. But nevertheless, he was able to win Hawkstone, and he was on fire in Hawkstone, as you can see here. He won all 3 motos in a Hawkstone, and he also won in the Netherlands at Valkenswaard, which he just kind of owned that track. But small injuries here and there. I think he broke his hand in Namur. He had issues that kept him out of the front runner's position. He was doing really well to a certain extent. It was between him, Jobé, and Nickel, and because of those small injuries, he ended up dropping back and making 3rd place, while Nickel and Jobé took it down to the wire. Of course, in Switzerland, Jobé ended up winning by 2 points. And you would think, with Jobé retiring, with Dave Thorpe semi-retiring, no more Eric
He's leading
Gabors.
the world class when he crashed and
And
injured
with
himself
Kurt Nichol
while
moving to
on
the 250
Kawasaki,
class,
and we're back at the front.
Billy
Once
Liles
again
was
with
a
Billy
shoo-in
Liles, number 5.
to win
Joe Bates
1993.
seems not at the moment to have an answer to the
But for some
fast
crazy
charging
reason,
American, but Watley, you can hear him
Billy
coming.
Liles decided
Right
to
quite comfortably at the moment,
race
but
the
none
250
so more than this
class
man.
that year.
At
Now,
the front,
I
number
wish I
5,
could interview
Liles
Liles
riding
and
the
ask him
Action
as to the
Workshop
reasons, but I'm just
Johnsons.
going to go with what Kurt Nichol said when he was interviewed.
Engined Honda.
The 500
Watley's
class was
still
no
there in
longer
third place. Gerald Smith, number
the
19.
premier
Looks like
class
conditions beginning to rough up a
in
little bit on the track. Here comes Liles
starting
and
like in
takes the checkered
91,
flag.
92. It started to switch over
And here they go again.
to the 250 class. That became the premier class in motocross and the MXGPs. So they decided, both Nichol and Liles decided to move to
into that first
the
row,
250
two
class in
riders falling over
1993.
each other.
For Liles, it did not go so well. He
Second,
only
through the
scored in
woods,
points
Liles.
15th
Looked
place,
like Warren Edwards in third,
which
made it through quite safely, but
he
it's
had
Liles.
never done in the 500 class.
Jobay, and that looks
So
very much like Nichol now. Yes,
he
indeed,
gave it a
Nichol,
shot
Kurt Nichol,
and
British
then
rider.
decided to come back to,
On number 9, the Austrian
to
KTM into
the 500
third.
class for
Nichol will be a
1994.
lot happier
He
with
actually
this
ended
start.
up
Wayne
he actually ended
Invertebrate
up
about
winning
the gate to the
around,
jury
even
here.
though
So far, no
in
action has
1994,
been taken.
even though he
But
did
it's
not win
Nichol
any of the
looking for better
motos.
points. He's going for
In
Jobay on the
1994,
inside to the delight
he ended up
of the
winning
Parisian crowd.
the
Nichol going on for
Italian
Jobay. Jobay hangs
MXGP
on.
Arco
I
di
can
Trento
assure you that the
track.
British
Even though he did
fans
not win
here
any of
will
the
be well
motos,
and truly
he
right
was the most
behind
consistent,
Nichol, but
which
at the moment it's the
is very on
American
brand
Liles
for
leading
Billy
for the
Liles.
second time today, and he's
However,
under pressure
he
from the
decided to
defending
make
champion.
1994
Jobay goes into
the
lead.
last
They head
season
for
that
the
he would race
uphill jump. That's the road section where you cross the
After
track
that, he
to get
moved
to the
back
dry
to
stand,
Georgia.
but Liles
When asked, Liles' most important moment of his career was in 1992, and when he was chosen to race for Team USA at the Motocross of Nations in Australia at the Manjimup track. He went, once again, his consistency paid off. He went 2-2 for the day, but ended up winning the overall in the 500 class, beating probably one of the goats of motocross, Jean-Michel Bell, who raced for France. And also the likes of people like Kurt Nichol, who were his two strongest competitors. So there you have it. Billy Liles, one of the best motocross racers and MXGP and both MXGP and national racers of his era. Billy Liles, if you're listening to this, we greatly thank you for the memories, and we continue to still watch your races